Hey everybody, welcome to Why It Matters, episode 3. I'm here with one of my really good friends, Lynn Robinson, my co-host,
Hey
and
everybody.
hey Lynn. And this is a show that talks about the important things that are happening in the news across the nation, as well as specifically to District 4 in Louisiana. I'm a congressional candidate in Louisiana, and Lynn is a constituent in Louisiana, District 4. And we are here to talk and tell you what has happened in the last few days and why that matters. So, how's it going, Lynn?
It's going good. I can't complain at all.
Yeah. Have you voted yet?
I have not.
Okay, I just voted. I don't know if you can see, I voted today.
Oh, did you?
hmm
Okay, yes. I actually had no intention of doing early voting.
Okay, just your election day, or do you do absentee?
I was doing absentee, but now the last election I actually just went in and voted. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
And this time I think I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Perfect. Well, for everybody who's listening, Louisiana, we have our runoff election. Today is Saturday, June 20th. You won't see this in time. So you have one day of voting. The actual election day is next Saturday, June 27th. Make sure that you go out and you vote in this runoff election. On the Democratic side, there are senatorial candidates that you can pick between and vote between. On the Republican side, senatorial candidates, there's some Bessie seats, there's some public service seats. So depending on what parish and city you're in, there are also some amendments and like some millage votes that you might have. So make sure that you check your Go Vote app and that you vote next Saturday, June 27th.
Yes, and you have plenty of time to check the Go Vote app so that you can see what you're voting on.
Yeah, it's an amazing app. It's so good. Well, even though it's only been a few days, I think there's a lot that's been in the news and a lot of topics we can talk about. And one topic that continuously is being brought up by constituents in our district, especially the southern part of our district, is carbon capture. So, Lynn, how familiar are you with carbon capture? I mean, I know it's not really something that we deal with right now in the northern part of the district.
Right. I've only heard a little bit about carbon capture. I think that's CCS, carbon
Mhm.
capture and sequestration. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah, it is
That's about it. There's a lot of questions that I have about
perfect.
carbon capture,
Me too.
um, and the safety of it and
Yes.
who's getting rich off of it because it's always
Uh,
somebody.
uh-huh.
When you follow the
All the
money, it's
money,
always
yes, yes.
something. So I'm just really
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, so it's a huge topic, and that's why I kind of wanted us to walk through it and discuss it, both on a like theoretical level, and then a practical level in other places, and then what's happening in Louisiana. So if we
Okay.
start with kind of theoretical, like what is carbon capture? So carbon capture is taking carbon dioxide, CO2, either out of the air or taking it from like off-gassing of pollutants before it even gets into the air. And why is that important? I mean, it's important because if we think about climate change, global warming, if we have too much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, that impacts how the atmosphere, absorbs and retains heat. So we don't want too much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. And trees are the best source of carbon capture and sequestration, and we have destroyed a lot of our forests. So we have all this carbon that's going into the air. Normally, the trees would replenish it and turn it into oxygen, and we don't have that luxury in some places. So the two kind of methods or the theory is like let's pull it directly from the air or let's pull it from off gassing before it even gets into the air. Yeah, so I know that other countries, especially Iceland, is doing this. It's pulling from the air and then turning the carbon dioxide under a really pressurized system into a solid. And so
But we're not doing that. That's not what they're trying to
that's
do
not what
here
we're
with
doing.
this.
That's not what we're talking.
Okay.
So that would be great. I mean, like you're taking it out of the air, you're helping, retain the balance between all of these molecules that are in our air and then helping with those impacts. That's not what's happening in Louisiana. So what's happening in Louisiana is that it's these like oil and gas companies who are instead of polluting into the air, they're trying to find a way to capture the off-gassing, the CO2 that is emitted through all of these processes. But it seems like in Louisiana, they're not taking it and pressurizing it into a solid. They're taking it and they're pressurizing it into a liquid. And they're using pipe systems a lot that have already been implemented, like from old natural gas and oil lines, and they're retrofitting them for this transportation and or storage of liquid carbon dioxide.
So when they retrofit it, that means that these pipes are supposed to be more secure and more able to actually store what they are actually producing.
In theory, but that's not what they were built for.
Okay. But when you said retrofitted, I thought maybe
Yeah, I
they were just
mean,
upgrading it.
maybe there, there's a lot of just like with the data centers, like some NDAs around this stuff. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of like obfuscation. In theory, we're taking it, we're turning it into a liquid. It's harder to, more pressure, more money, different systems to turn into a solid, but solid makes way more sense. Turning into a liquid, well, then the liquid either has to like just sit or it has to go somewhere. And that's where the real problems are happening, where we're seeing the lack of forethought in this. Because a lot of the liquid is just kind of like sitting in these pipes, or it's being like piped to unknown areas, but it's in liquid form. And what we've seen, one of the lines ruptured, and it's not like an explosion, it's not an explosive. The carbon dioxide is not explosive. But when it
Like a
ruptures,
seepage.
yeah, seepage. But so it ruptures, and carbon dioxide, there's no pressure, so it turns back into gas and it replaces or displaces the oxygen in the air. And so 47 people were hospitalized due to carbon dioxide oversaturation and a lack of access to oxygen because the carbon dioxide just like took over and you can't breathe in carbon dioxide and all the oxygen's gone.
I wonder how long it took them to actually figure out that there was a rupture.
Yeah.
Was it when these people passed out, or was it, hey, we're going to do regular inspections and we see that, hey, this has ruptured and we need to check on the citizens that are in this area?
No,
Like, I wonder which one it was.
I'm sure it was, oh, we have all these people in the hospital. Oh
Uh-huh.
man,
Yeah,
it's because
we,
this thing ruptured. So
that,
what
that's
it,
scary.
it's really scary because it's already
That's scary.
happened. And then now they're, creating some more pipelines using additional piping. And so like, where is this? Is this underneath us? If you're down south. I mean, right now we know it's not up here, but a lot of people, the one of the big questions that people have is a lot of people sold some of their mineral rights and like ground rights to these oil and gas companies. So the oil and gas company could put pipes underneath their land, and they sold it to these companies or access to these companies for oil and natural gas. They knew what they were getting into.
Hmm.
And now these companies are using it for CCS when that's not what the people agreed to. So now there's arguments over who actually owns the pipes, what access do they have, are they allowed to do this, how much of a potential liability is this? And like with data centers, there's so many unknowns, and they haven't done a lot of environmental impact studies on how this is going to really work, or and how in danger are these people.
And I read something about it well, I read two things actually. One thing saying that there were laws that would not allow them to use eminent domain.
Hmm.
But almost in the same paragraph, there was something to the effect of eminent domain can be used if there's
Yeah.
always an if
Yeah. Yes.
concerning something dealing with, especially dealing with big companies and the government. There's
Yep.
always an if or a loophole.
Yes. Yeah. And so eminent domain comes into question. Are they able to take your land to install new piping for this? I know, so it's a little tricky. We have two different Mike Johnsons in Louisiana. We have
Mhm.
the federal Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, then we have a state rep who is also Mike Johnson. And that Mike Johnson, his area is in the South, and so he has been involved in some of this carbon capture stuff. And yeah, I think part of it is what will the government officials allow, and then how much are these companies going to try to get away with?
Mhm. I, my theory is they're going to try and get away with as much as will save them money.
Hmm.
And as far as the government part of it, whatever brings Louisiana the most cash flow, for some reason, I feel like they turn a blind eye when it comes to, money coming into
Hmm.
the state or even into their respective districts. I feel like they turn a blind eye.
If you're just storing it, the possibility of a rupture in the pipe system because of, I mean, you know how many hurricanes and tornadoes and other natural disasters we have in Louisiana. I
Yes.
mean, just imagine what's going to happen if a hurricane hits in that area and knocks out 2 miles of piping.
I always think that anything underground can break, crack, whatever,
Yes,
just with a little bit of shifting going
a
on.
tiny bit.
We
Yes.
Nobody can control what goes on in nature.
Hmm.
Nature is a force itself to be reckoned with.
Yep.
And for man to think that, hey, this is so this is set in stone, literally,
Right.
literally, that
Right.
this is
Yeah.
set in stone, that there's no
Yep.
way that this is gonna go anywhere. It can't be, it can't, there's not gonna be a crack. It's not gonna get into your water system. It's not, you don't have to worry. The
Mhm.
CCS companies can't guarantee
Nope.
residents that.
Nope.
And I'm sure that's where they're having their problems
Absolutely.
with the company is that, hey, you can't guarantee me safety forever. You
Hmm.
can say your company is safe because you want to do what you want to do and you
Yep.
want to get more money. But as far as the long game is concerned, that's families that are on that land.
Hmm.
They're and the people, their offspring's offspring, um, that's going to be affected by it should anything happen with that cap rock.
Right now, it seems like the legislation is allowing that to occur. So it's going through court systems. People are trying to fight back in any way that they can. It seems like the current legislation, current judiciary is allowing this to happen. So truly the course of action that people need to take if they're worried about this is look at your legislators, see how they voted on different bills. You can look up and say, who's my representative and how did they vote? And call them. Calling offices is really, really helpful. You can tell them what you think. And then when it's time to vote, vote for somebody who's actually going to protect you and your family and your land and your safety.
Yeah, that's some really good advice. A lot of times, things pass and we don't even understand that this is even going on.
So I'm going to transition from that. So talking about this view of America that is like Christian centric, we have, of course, June is Pride Month. And that is recognized in a lot of places. Usually, local governments, they will officially recognize June as Pride Month and it's a proclamation. Well, what has happened recently, Thursday night, the Caddo Parish Commission decided after 14 years of approving recognizing June as Pride Month, this year they're not recognizing it, which is whatever you feel about that. To me, what's more important, especially as like a member of the community, is citizens got to speak at this before they voted. And there were so many people in the community that were so understanding and acknowledge what Pride Month means. It means that we are acknowledging that every person has the right to exist. And before, not every person has had the right to exist. We've seen that in our country. So now then,
And
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And Matt, as far as the LGBTQ community
Mhm.
is concerned, I feel like it parallels the struggle of Black citizens so
Mhm.
much.
Absolutely.
Being marginalized, being considered less than, etc. So I'm 100% in support of uh, there being a Pride Month in Caddo, in Shreveport. Um, and although I'm not a part of the community, I am definitely adjacent to the
An
community.
ally.
I am all for people being proud of who they are and being able to step out in their truth. Uh, it takes it takes courage in the South specifically
Mhm.
to step out and say, "Hey, I am a proud gay man," or "I am a proud lesbian woman," or whatever the situation is. Yeah, I'm queer, whatever, and nobody should be penalized for it. I feel like you should be able to embrace your truth,
Mhm.
and it should be celebrated. It's as simple as that. They didn't want to celebrate Black History. You
Right?
see, we got the shortest month of the year.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I was all for it. Yes, let's have
Yeah.
a Pride Month. Let's
Yeah.
let's do it,
It
And
doesn't.
just because they say no, that's
Oh,
when
yeah.
you push harder. That's when you push
Yes.
harder.
Yeah.
And you put the rainbow flags up all June everywhere that you possibly can,
Yes.
and just take it for yourself.
Hmm.
Because that's what Black people have had to do for years.
There's a lot of discussion right now on Facebook, of course, about what happened in the meeting where we had an overwhelming amount of the community who were allies and who are members of the community and who were, pro recognition. And then we had a few people who are, those Christian extremists and who are trying to use the Bible to rationalize their bigotry and their hatred. And it's just really interesting time that we're living in. They have recognized it for the last 14 years, and then this year, two of the members who voted yes last year did not. So I think it's something else to keep in mind as we're thinking about who we're voting for and putting into office, that people are able to be persuaded, and for good or for bad, and that we have to hold our elected officials accountable and make sure that they are providing for and taking care of everybody in the community, not just certain facets of the community.
And it's unfortunate that the Bible is used as a tool for bigots,
Mhm.
but it is,
It
and
always
that's
has been.
not its purpose.
Hmm.
It will continue to be, especially here in the South, and I can say that openly. Also, there was this commissioner. His name was Chris. Um, well, Chris, you know who you are.
Oh,
He said that he basically polled his constituents. And the majority of the people, well, when he got the vote back, it was like 100 and something people that said they were against it. His constituents that said they were against it. 100 and something. Might have said 146, might have said 126, whatever, it was the majority. And then he said it was like, I guess 20 something that said, yeah, they were fine with it. And so he says that based on what his constituents said, that he went with them.
mm,
Now, this is why I have a problem with it. I feel like that was a cop out. Okay. That
sure.
was his way of straddling the fence so that he could tell people later who may be pro pride that, hey, this wasn't my call. This was my constituents' call. And the people that were anti um, Pride Month, then he could tell them yeah, I voted the way that I knew that my constituents
Yeah.
wanted.
Hmm.
Um, but not only that, um, here's my question to him, which I doubt he ever sees this, but
Yeah. Yeah.
if by chance he does get to see this, my question is this: how many times have you taken the vote of your constituents for other things that were important decisions in Shreveport or Caddo? That's
Hmm.
what I want to know.
Yeah.
How many other times have you taken this same vote?
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm thinking it's zero.
Probably zero. The other
Yeah,
thing too is the government is supposed to represent everyone, not just the majority. And there's a reason why we call people of color, people in the LGBTQ community, people who are disabled, like minority groups, because we are not the majority. We inherently do not have as many people as the people in the majority. And so, as an elected official, you have to understand that your job is to speak for often people who are marginalized, people who don't have the same opportunities that you do, and to recognize when you need to lift up these communities using your power and your privilege and your potential. And it's unfortunate that the rationale is like, oh, I went with the majority. It takes people who are part of the majority to recognize the struggle of the minority and lift everybody up together, not just keep you and your group in power. So that's what's happening here in Caddo Parish. A little frustrating. I mean, it's 2026. You think that we'd have some stuff together?
not here in Caddo.
Not here in Caddo, apparently. Not here in Caddo for so many reasons. This is just like one
In
more thing.
Louisiana, we're still in the
Oh,
20s.
it's like in the last 5 months, we've gone back 50 years. Lord.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to end on that that negative note. Uh,
No, give us some good news,
give,
please.
give
Give us some good
us,
news.
yes. Are you gonna give us the good news?
No, we'll let you do it.
Oh, I have to do it? Oh,
Next time, yeah, it's your turn.
oh man, now I need to pull it up.
Right,
So
okay.
our community spotlight for this episode is a little bit outside of our district, but in Louisiana, we just want to give a huge shout out to Laura Abear, who's a fourth generation farmer. She was named Louisiana Farm Bureau's top farmer. She farms rice, sugarcane, and crawfish in Vermilion Parish with her wife and her son. And she says that she expresses a deep sense of pride in continuing her family's farming legacy. So congratulations, you all, especially in this crazy time that we're in with farming, with LGBTQ rights, with just being accepted, acknowledged. You all are amazing. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Laura. And keep those crawfish coming.
Yes, send some to us, if you see this. Okay, well, we did it again, Lynn. Episode 3 in the books.
Muddle through it.
No, we did good. And as always, like, subscribe, share, follow, tell a friend. Thank you, everybody.